Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well. My name is Hannah and I'm an author from the southeast of England. I published my first book at the end of July. It's called Number 47 and I'll link it down below just in case you want to take a look. Given that we are now in the midst of NaNoWriMo, I thought I would do a quick video on what I'm focusing on, so what my current whip is and what I'm working on. My current whip is called One Road In. Road as in like tarmac, not road as in horse. I've had that question a few times now and there are no horses in One Road In. Not that I've thought of anyway, might be at some point. One Road In is a horror. So Number 47 was it was thriller, but it had elements of horror in there. So the suspense and the tension was there and the unnerving kind of feelings were there. But One Road In is straight up horror. The reason I've chosen to do horror is because I love reading horror. I love reading it, I love watching it, I love talking about it. Everyone loves serial killers. Like, if you don't, then you're fibbing, basically. And my favourite thing about horror is not the gore. I'm not into gore or gratuitous violence, actually, really. What I am into is the feeling of like that unnerving feeling. I love horror that is so close to being feasibly true that it just makes you feel so uncomfortable. And I love the feeling of claustrophobia and that feeling like something's sitting on your chest and you can't breathe properly and just suspense, and that's what I really like. One of my favourite horror things, actually, despite what I told everyone after I watched it, was Midsummer, that came out this year. And it wasn't because of the violence and the gore. I actually didn't really connect with that very well. But the feeling of claustrophobia, even though it was set in like this massive space, it was so claustrophobic, and I really want to recreate that kind of feeling in One Road In. So I thought I'd just give you a little insight into what One Road In is about. So the main character is called Sadie, and she lives in London. Her character arc is quite dark. Basically, her brother went missing a handful of years ago, prior to her obviously leaving, kind of running away to London in a way. And essentially she knows a lot more about his disappearance than she ever let on. She flew under the radar during the investigation. No one ever questioned her really, apart from a familial and a family point of view. So yeah, she knows lots more about his disappearance, and she's kept it a secret, kept it completely locked down for 5 years, and she basically left her hometown because it was easier for her to lie when she was that far away. So her arc essentially is of acceptance, taking responsibility for what she knows and maybe what she did, and reconciling events of her past with the events of her future in order to move on. That is basically the arc of her, and a couple of the surrounding characters kind of have a similar journey to go on. So it wasn't just her that's involved, it's a few more characters that may or may not have been involved. They don't actually have names yet, so anonymous characters. I don't want to say too much more because it would definitely give it away, but there is a supernatural element to One Road In, and it is witches or witch. Haven't actually decided yet, but not like pointy hat, green nose witches, more like the demonic forces that kind of like worm their way into some of the characters' lives, and I want it to happen so slowly and so gradually that it could almost be conceivable that it's not there. So it's weird, and there's weird stuff that's going to be happening, but in a way it will have happened so gradually to some of the characters that they just won't pick up on it until it's far too late. That's the aim anyway. I don't like to make things easy for myself. So yeah, as I said earlier, Sadie is my main character. Name just kind of came out of nowhere. I don't really have a problem naming characters, but I don't really think about it too much. I think until you write something like fantasy, and you have to really think about like what's the symbolism of this name. Well, it doesn't really matter in my opinion. And the place that it takes place, is not based on a true place. So though I say that Sadie lives in London, I think I'm not actually going to say outright that it is London. I'm just going to say that she lives in a big busy city, because it's the polar opposite of where the bad thing happened. So the bad thing happens in a very isolated place. I've kind of got in my mind somewhere a little bit like maybe somewhere in Scotland, in the Highlands, somewhere really, really isolated, really, really cut off. that lends itself really well to horror. And then she moves to London, somewhere like London, because it's the polar opposite of that. But yeah, I don't tend to base my writing in real places. My main aim when I'm reading a novel is to escape, so it's kind of carried through into how I write, to be honest. So yeah, essentially, One Road In is a horror, leans very heavily on suspense and sort of the uncomfortable feelings of horror over the gore and like scary horror. Though I actually think horror that is so close to something that could actually happen is scarier than big monsters. That's just my opinion, but that's pretty much how I feel about it. And yeah, I will update you further when I've got some more stuff to share. I don't want to give any more away in this video, or else it'd be totally obvious what the storyline is. And yeah, looking forward to sharing more with you later. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this. I will speak to you later. Bye.